Hello and welcome to our show, Film Talk with AJ Dean. I'm AJ Dean, your host, and tonight Paul has off. So it's just going to be me and our wonderful VIP guest, Marc Ste-Marie. Hello, Marc. How are you this
Oh,
evening?
hello, AJ. Well, I'm very, very good, and thank you very much for your invitation. I really, really appreciate.
We love having you here. Thank you so much. It's such an honor to meet you. We met you on Clubhouse, Marc, and here you are in on Zoom. We're meeting face to
Yes,
face. It's so wonderful to see you. And you are a New York trained actor from Montreal, Canada. You have been trained under Tom Todorov, and who owns his own conservatory in New York City. He has coached Tom Goldwyn, Richard Gere, the likes of Harrison Ford, Tommy Lee Jones, Liam Neeson, and Samuel L. Jackson. So
and
this is
so many others, so many others. Robert Wagner also. Oh, yes.
wow, wow. Now, what was it like? We're going to go back in a few minutes to talk about how this all started, but I do want to touch on and start the show with what is it like teaching under someone and learning the craft of art and acting from Tom, who has such a prestigious conservatory in New York, and tell us about that. How much have you enjoyed it?
Oh my God. How long do I have to answer this question? Because Tom is such a. I could talk for hours about Tom because Tom Todorov has changed my life for the better, and on every aspects of my life, in all the stages of my life. Because since I was very young, I always was attracted, to go in the US and work in the US. And there's a few actors in Montreal actually that work both in Canada and the US, and some of them also in France. And I took some other acting classes in Montreal. But to go with Tom, well, he was coming to Montreal for years before the pandemic, well, traveling all around the world, a lot in the States, different cities in Canada. It was mainly Montreal, Toronto, and sometimes Vancouver, and in the States everywhere. And sometimes he was even going to Dubai once in a while, Portugal, and but it was a lot of traveling for him. And he has two dogs. He has no children, and his wife, Emily Moulton, is the director of the conservatory. And he was gone all the time, mainly every weekend. But now he was coming to Montreal every 3 months. When he was coming to Montreal, it was amazing. But when he was leaving Montreal, oh my God, I felt so anxious, so depressed. And for me to wait 3 months was very, very, very hard. Then when the pandemic happened, this is the positive side of this pandemic. It's that Tom decided to do classes through Zoom. So he has a place sometimes that he goes that he still owns, and I believe it's in Santa Monica. But either where he is, it's always by Zoom. So now he has a quality of life with his wife, Emily. They work together, and also with his two dogs. So he's always home and working at the conservatory in New York. So it gives him a beautiful, lifestyle. And so while we're doing courses through Zoom, and with Tom, it's the most high standards you could ever find in the world. What happens is that even I think it's about it wasn't in 20 yeah it was in 2020 for 2021 because it started in I think it was in April May 2020 by Zoom. Even Chris the Boxing Day and January 2nd happened on a Saturday, and we had classes because so it was and I was very happy because I was busy with those classes. And so it changed everything because we have classes every Saturdays from 11 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. So from 11 to 11:30 with Emily, his director, his wife, we have technique review. based on the Michael Shirtliff, his book Audition.
Oh, I love that book.
That well, it's based on that. And from 11:30 to 12:30, we had a voice work, body work, speech work with the greatest, voice coaches that you could ever imagine through the US. There is one that has both citizenship, Julia Linardin, who lives in Montreal. But when she was, which is one of the coach, but when she was in New York, she was the head voice coach. And also, I believe that she coached one or two shows on Broadway. So the standards are very, very high. And he has two other coaches that are older than him, but that were in the first classes at Juilliard's because Tom went to Juilliard also. So, I mean, the standards are very, very, very high. And when you are with Tom, it is very demanding. A lot of young people do not expect that kind of classes because it's the highest standards, you know. He was refused at Juilliard first because he was coming, you know, from Buffalo. Not he was the only one who was getting education in his family, and so he was refused the way that he was speaking for his, how do we say that? Just missed the words, but he was refused because the way that he was pronouncing the words, because he was coming from a popular, background. Then he was recommended a voice coach. I think it was in the area of Chicago to go there for a year, even during the snowstorm. And he got a job also to pay those classes. And when he came back after a year to apply again to Juilliard's, he was accepted right away.
Yay.
And as you know, so life is really strange because Tom was refused because of his speech, and now he's recognized as one of the most five popular voice coaches around the world, and even a coach, I believe it was Richard Gere for dialect. I don't remember for which movie. So now it's unbelievable. The standards with Tom are very high. It's a you're
It's a
gonna learn.
mindset. It's a mindset, right,
It's a
Mark?
mindset, yes. Very, 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 very demanding. But also with Tom, it's not only acting classes that you're getting into, it's like a therapy combined. So you need to work on yourself. Like he says, if you just want to do small parts, a few lines, you don't need him to do that kind of work as an actor. But if you really want to have lead roles in either it's on stage, in front of the camera, movie, TV series, whatever, that's the right person to go
Yes.
to.
I'm
And
Go ahead.
so
Sorry.
we work on our rackets, and that's what I've been doing a lot for the last 2 years. And it changed me so much because now whatever I do, um, I feel so confident. I'm always hearing Tom, okay, you do this, do that, in my head. And last year, in 2021, I did because we can do also the the um, the intensive weeks. It's usually the last week of July, where we could be either in New York or through Zoom. So wherever you are in the world, you can assist. And when I did that, oh my God, because we could not go, or I didn't have the budget to go in 2021, but there was people who went there, and it was unbelievable. And I mean, after that week, oh my God, I said the next time I want to be in New York. Yeah,
Yes.
right.
Yeah. You are very New York. You
Oh
fit in with
yes,
New York
absolutely,
completely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I'm asking all kind of questions to my medium friend. Sometimes, but that I don't have to ask her because I know it's the feeling is so strong
Yes.
inside of me. I'd like to work in Hollywood, but I know that I would like to reside in New York, and because that's where I really belong. Because you love New
Absolutely.
York or you don't like New York.
Absolutely, Mark. You would fit in perfectly, 100%. And I love the fact that Tom is doing this, and it's wonderful about the mindset, and it really is a way of life. I love that
Yes,
he thinks that. And I'm so thankful that you found him and that he opened it up to do it on Zoom, just like we met through on Clubhouse.
that's right.
And I'm so thankful that we met and look, here we are doing it through Zoom. So I'm so grateful.
Exactly.
It's the future. Everybody's doing it. So, and I do want to say shout out and thank you to Patricia Chica because she introduced you. I love her. Hi, Patricia. She introduced you to Clubhouse. Is that right, Mark?
That's right, because I took a course, I think it was in 2020, about the chakras, to align your chakras, you work on your energy. And but I'd like to take another special course that she does also. And yeah, she's the one who introduced me, and she pushed me, to come on Clubhouse, and
I'm so
it
glad she
was
did.
wonderful for me, wonderful experience because um, I made a lot of, not a lot, but a few very, very good people, friends, on Clubhouse. Now those people became friends, and like Sue Phillips, the perfume lady,
Hi, Sue.
and it's for me. And there's Amber, and there's a few. So yeah, for me, there's Omar also in India. It's wonderful, wonderful people that I never thought I would, meet.
Yes, me too. And I love Sue Phillips also. She was on our show, on my show, and I loved it. She's a beautiful lady, one of my dear
Oh
friends.
yes.
And she's so knowledgeable on perfumes and oils, and she's so classy. And we just love her to the moon and back.
But
Um,
Sue, I think it was in November last year, they bring her as an expert to testify from the fraudsters, to the New York court, eh? And she was there, I
really?
believe, for 2 days to testify as an expert. And Sue was the co-creator. Well, she was a fragrance VP for Tiffany. And
Yes.
it's funny because it's the father of, oh my God, what's the Brooke Shields. It was Paul Shields, the father of Brooke Shields, was the headhunter who got her the job at Tiffany as a fragrance VP. And
Oh, that's so nice.
yeah, and also so because they wanted to create a fragrance to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Tiffany, so
Wow.
she co-created the fragrance with the chief perfumer in those days, Jacques Polge, the chief perfumer of Chanel.
Amazing.
So she
Amazing.
traveled all around the world, to get, the
Mhm.
ingredients and everything. To went to school for fragrances in Paris, but she traveled a lot, and yeah, it was amazing. So for
Yes,
me,
and I'm wearing my Parisian hat and a little bit of my Parisian wig here to match my logo colors, if you can see. And I did
oh
this.
yes,
Yes, because you speak French, right?
oui, je parle français également, et j'ai déjà fait un peu de doublage également en français.
Oui, monsieur.
Voilà, je maîtrise très bien les deux langues.
Oh, I wish I knew more. I wish I knew more, Mark, but you speak it so beautifully. Thank you so much. I love it. And I did a DNA test and I'm part French and I
Oh
love,
yes.
yes, oui, yes, oui. And so I'm so happy that I'm part French. I'm very proud of that. And I love that. So hello to France and everybody in Montreal, Canada, and Quebec and everywhere. We love you. Okay. Mark, I did want to say, how did you start first of all, where were you born and how did you start in acting? I know you began as a radio host. Is that right?
Yes, I
Okay.
began as a radio host for two different stations, and the last show I was doing was, classical music. So I was interviewing, the chef d'orchestre and all um, the ballet dancers and opera singers, and
Where was this?
in Montreal.
Montreal. Okay. Were you born in
Yes,
Montreal?
yes, I was born in Montreal. I
Okay.
think when I was around 10 years old, I my mother. Uh, I went to a not very far from our house to a private home to an acting teacher, and I learned my diction and everything. But I wanted to become an actor since then, but I was never encouraged to do it because my mother's uncle was part of there were 3 or 4 businessmen, the founder of the Union des Artistes, we call that UDA in Quebec, and for the actors, and people were starving a lot. He was even going when he was going. He was wealthy when he was going to New York. He was buying makeup for the actors, and so I was never pushed, to do that career. But I believe that you are an actor or you're not, and when you discover that you are, it's like anybody else, who has a passion. Then you need to go and get the right training. So I
Yeah.
took some classes, in Montreal, but there was always something missing because I was aiming very, very high. And but when I had the opportunity to meet Tom, well, that's where everything changed. And
Everything
also,
changed.
yes, and with Tom, it's not. Um, he's always telling us very often, before being a professional actor, become a professional human being. Know your
Oh,
own nervous system. We don't want to be, well, when it was in person or even if it's through Zoom, direct auditions on Zoom, don't want to be responsible for your self-esteem. So we need to work on ourselves to know our own nervous system and to apply the tools that work best for us.
I love that. I love
Yes.
that. And that helped you. Um, did you know that when you were working as a flight attendant and at the Ritz-Carlton? Or did you learned this later, right, with Tom?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Because when I worked at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, I was a switchboard operator. My grandmother was working for Bell Canada, with those cords there, the switchboard that, and so I love to talk. I don't like to write, but I love to talk, and it's I was a switchboard operator. Well, one month at the Four Seasons Hotel, and it was funny because when I was there, I was just behind the front desk, so there was. Elliot Gould that I saw, Chevy Chase, and also I cannot imagine I met that guy. Burgess Meredith, who played the Penguin, in Batman in the 1960s, and that
Oh,
was one of my favorite shows. I saw
wow.
him because I was near the switchboard. When I was at the Ritz Carlton for 6 years, I was screening all the calls for those celebrities. So we had a royalty. I think we had one princess, but after that, baronesses, duchesses. But business people. But then with all the celebrities, there was Karen Black, who was in Airport 75, the chief
Yes.
flight attendant.
Yes.
And there was, so we had Christopher Plummer, David Bowie, Sophia Loren, John James, who was playing in Dynasty. I was getting all the calls that the young girls wanted to talk to John James. So we had so much. We
And and Mark, do you think I think that you were destined to be an actor because
yes.
in those roles of being a flight attendant and working at the Ritz-Carlton, it's all about service and customer service and delivering the very best.
But
And
but AJ, for me, when I was a flight attendant, um, I was really, really different from the other flight attendant. It even created a lot of jealousy around me and towards me because I never served passengers on a plane. I always pampered my passengers, so which is very, very different. And for me, I never think about customer service because it's so integrated. It's like in part of my genes. I just treat people as I would like to be treated. And I love to go in upscale hotels and what upscale bars, hotels. So, and I was really trained by Mrs. Jeanne Morancy, with now she's still living. She's about 93 or 94 years old. And we still call each other. And I was really, really well trained because that kind of clientele was very, very demanding, but I was trained in such a young age to really, take care of people, and I trained a lot of switchboard operators, and after that in offices, receptionists. But yeah, I did that,
that's
and
because you have a beautiful heart, Mark,
yes.
and you care, and that sets you apart. Also, what's very important to you is respect and fun. And that also sets you apart as well as an
Yes.
actor because you take your craft seriously. It's not
Yes.
about a paycheck. It's about the art for you and the whole experience. And I love that about you. And that's why you're on that high level, Marc, and you're going to do very, very well. You're going to
Oh,
go
thank
even farther. Yeah, your dreams are going to come true because you put the time in and you really care. You're compassionate. It's your passion.
Oh
And
yes,
and I see
it's
that
my
so
life
much.
mission. And there is a quote that I saw on Facebook. It's a Annette Binning, and it was under her name, and she said, "Being an actor has nothing to do with being glamorous. It has everything to do by exploring the soul."
Oh, I
That's where I am.
love that. That is beautiful. That is so you, Marc. That is so you.
Yes.
Thank you for that. I love that. Um, so when you worked at the Ritz-Carlton, before you became an actor, what did it teach you?
Oh, I was 18 years old. A lot. I mean, a lot about life. A lot, especially at the Ritz, because people in those days were coming to the Ritz-Carlton, which was an older, very upscale hotel. If they wanted to go to a modern hotel, which was, I think, 2 or 3 blocks away, they went to the Four Seasons Hotel. So that's what we had in those days in the 1980s. These were sometimes it was the Queen Elizabeth Hotel, but it was mainly the Ritz or the Four Seasons Hotel. And if we were overbooked, we were sending them to the Four Seasons. If they were overbooked, then they were sending out the clients to us. And what did I learn? Oh my God, so much. And I was put in a work environment with a lot. I think it was 14 or 16 different ethnicities, so different cultures, and I loved it.
Wonderful.
I'm very curious about people, about life, to learn, grow, and evolve. And believe me, with Tom, we better be curious because we need to ask a lot of questions. And yes, it was really for me a beautiful, beautiful start in life at a very young age. Because unfortunately nowadays young people about service there are exceptions, but they don't care. So I'm very proud, and it's serving me because whatever I'm doing, I'm going to be give a lot of dedication to my work.
Yes.
And as Tom says, when we learn a text, we need to be well we learn and we have to be a detective on our
Mhm.
text, but we have to be as good as we were an agent working for the CIA with all the details. So,
I love it. I absolutely love it. Hello, Tom. We love you. You're the best coach, Tom.
yes.
I did want to showcase your wonderful, a few of your two great movie posters that we have on screen here. Toute la vérité and Le
Oh
cœur
yeah.
et ses raisons three. Raison 3. So those are a couple of TV shows that
Yes.
you acted in, and I hope, did I pronounce it correct, or please
It
help
was
me.
toute la vérité, but that was a small part, and the other one was
Le cœur est
le cœur a ses raisons.
raison.
Yeah, I was playing a rabbi, in it. So yeah,
Oh, you were
but
playing a rabbi.
yeah, but
Was that fun?
also.
Was that
Oh
fun to do?
yes, yes, yes. I had the wig, and all the little things there, the sniper, coming the hat, and but I did a short film in 2019 about ITSS.
Yes, I was
It's
going to mention that.
about
It's love, right?
yeah, and I just took a note because oh yeah. So and it's funny because it's about a young woman, that's hypochondriac, and she thinks that she has a STD. So she goes in that specialized clinic to get tested if she has an STD. But she's really attracted, and she falls in love with the young doctor. And I'm playing the older doctor, crappy old doctor who's really rude and very like uh, not very nice. And that young doctor, his name, it's Jonathan Vanderson, a very attractive young guy. And it's funny because Jonathan Vanderson has studied at the Tom Todorov Conservatory a few years ago.
Oh my
But we never
goodness.
met on set because he's done his scenes and I did my scenes. You know, we were not on the same set,
Isn't
but
that a small
yeah,
world?
yeah. And that short movie got an award.
Well,
So I was doing like
congratulations.
the crappy doctor, you know, was looking at women's butt when they were entering my office, not very classy and you know, really weird and pig,
Uh-huh.
pig, you know, like so. That's what I was playing. Yes. And there's another one that I did. It was last year. It's called The Psychic.
A psychic. I was going to mention that. Yes.
That's the one of the picture I sent you, you know, with those white eyes, you know.
Yes. Tell
And
us
yeah,
about that. Tell us about that movie, that
oh,
production.
it's yeah, it's two girls who are friends, and one of them wants to bring her friend to see a psychic. The other one doesn't believe in that. And I was really like, well, with the picture you can see, I was really weird, really creepy. And when I was laughing, you know, at the end, I was like kind of really weird, really, really, really weird. And so, because then the lady who doesn't believe, the young girl doesn't believe in the psychic, she sees a guy moving in a picture, but she doesn't know that to take that guy out of the picture, I have to send somebody else in the picture. And I decided I'm sending her in the picture.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
And the story explodes into a different path. Wow.
Yeah. And now the story finishes. It's a short film. So it finishes. It's supposed to go in festivals. It finishes that now she's stuck in the picture.
Wow. Now this was produced September or filmed rather September 2021. And now you're going to send it out to film festivals. Best of luck
And
with
not me,
that.
the directors and the
Or the
team are
director.
going to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the team. Wonderful. And so hopefully that will come back. And was that fun to play as well? Did you have to put how did they do the whites of your eyes? Was that contacts or what? How did
Or what they did, yeah, it was contacts. And it's, yeah, I put the contacts in, and you know, because it was like students from a school, so I was telling one of the guy how to do the makeup because I couldn't see what you know, I couldn't apply it myself. I didn't see it, but it was like yeah, there was some white contact lessons,
wow.
and I was it was quite uncomfortable, but it's part of the deal, you know. Being an actor, you know, when you go and you see the awards, whatever it's the Oscar, the Emmys, the Golden Globe, especially when people look at women or look glamorous with those dresses, you know, men are usually they dress alike, yeah, but for women, all the jewelry and beautiful makeup and everything, they think that's glamorous. Yeah, but this is a party. But if you pay attention to the scenes that they're showing to the public, it's not glamorous at all. It's depending on what your character you're playing on the conditions you're playing. Remember, I saw on YouTube because Sophia Loren, what she did, or one of her son is a director, a movie director,
Wow.
and she was playing, and she's a very glamorous, beautiful woman, but she was playing this old lady that was kind of on the streets, you know, and she had gray hair, and her makeup, she had makeup, but not like we're used to see Sophia Loren. It was really, really like very makeup, like no makeup, you know. And
Wow.
then her son told her, we're going to put some like special, you know, a machine to have the rain go on you, but you cannot blink your eyes. And she had the rain falling on her, and she didn't blink her eyes because she's a
Amazing.
professional actress. This is not glamorous at all.
Yes, it's a lot of
You know,
hard work, isn't it?
it's part of the work, and it's part. And as Tom is always telling us, never judge your character, and always find the love and play the positive. I hear that every
Oh,
week.
I love that. Thank you so much. Tom has got some great gems and wonderful advice. I can see and hear why you admire him so much. And I'm so
Yes.
thankful that he's your coach and your acting teacher. I'm so sorry, we're gonna have to start wrapping it up. It's gone so fast, but I
I
want to,
mean, I could talk for hours. I
yes,
don't like to write, but I love talking.
yes, you're a great talker, and we love it. I did want to ask you before we go, what are you currently working on, and how can people contact you if they want to hire you as an actor? Mark, go ahead.
Well, I'm aiming, I did a principal in a new TV series in August. That's going to be aired in next March here in
Congratulations.
Quebec. Thank you, but it was only one thing shot, and and it's fun because now I feel so strong as an actor. I could do anything, last minute auditions, whatever. I know exactly what I have to do with, you know. But what I'm aiming for is to do a lot of. I like to work in English more, and to because I auditioned years ago for a movie Head in the Clouds with Penelope Cruz, but I did not get the part. But on Clubhouse, I met one of the executive producers. I just James something. I don't remember his last name for the moment. And he's a very nice man. I think he lives in London, England. And but for to work in TV series and in movies, and to get eventually leads in the US.
Wonderful. And so how can a casting agent or a manager, an agent contact you? How do they get a
Oh,
hold of you?
by my Instagram.
Okay, by your Instagram, so they can text you and message you on Instagram, and that's okay.
That's perfect.
And
And I respond to.
what is it under? Is it Marc Ste-Marie?
I'm gonna just check because I know it's not Marc Ste-Marie. Just let me check out. I'm gonna just give you the right information. It's Ste-Marie Marc. That means Stemarie, and then Marc, Marc.
I love your name. So
Marie.
it's Saint Marc Marie.
Ste-Marie Marc.
I'm sorry, Saint Marie Marc. Thank
Yeah,
you.
with a C.
Okay.
With a C.
Let me say that one more time. Saint Marie Marc. Follow Marc Ste-Marie on Instagram. Yes, and you'll find him there, and you can text him and message him. And now we're going to do our heart messages for the week, Mark. And what that is if there's something on your heart that you want to say to the world, your message or your philosophy or anything you want to say, this is your time.
It's
So
already over. My God, I
I
can't believe it.
Oh, it's so fast, isn't it? I know. I'm so sorry. But let's start with you. What is your heart message for the world for this week? What does the world need to know, Mark? Over to you.
Very easy. That's what I am applying now in my life. Um, in the world that we're living now, whatever circumstances, whatever happens in the world, be connected to your heart. Follow your intuition. And when you receive the intuition, you always have the free will to listen or not. But if you decide to listen to those messages and you're going to do inspired actions, not just any actions, you're going to do inspired actions. And once you receive those messages from intuition in your heart, you could check on YouTube. Greg Braden talks about the heart coherence and everything. It's our job to rewire our brain to be aligned with the heart, and then that's the best time to do your affirmations. But always put your hand on your heart when you don't know what to do and you're very stressed out. Put your breathing down. Put your hand on your heart. Ask the question, and you'll get the best answers. Best answer that suits you the best for that moment.
Oh, I love that. That was beautifully said. Thank you so much, Mark. And what a nice message for the whole world. Right, goes right to our hearts, and we accept that. Thank you so much for that heartfelt message. I loved it. I loved it so much. And it's just so wonderful of you to be that way. You're one of the great hearts in this world, and you're a fine actor, New York trained. And my message is you, each one of you and me, all of us together in this world, we have a spirit of love, power, and self-discipline. Anything that you would like to achieve in your goals is possible. All you have to do is either write it down and step by step achieve those goals, or just tackle it head on and you can do it. So that's my heart message for this week. And Marc, I want to thank you so much for being my guest. You were absolutely wonderful. And I feel that we're friends forever, and I appreciate you.
Thank
And
you so much, AJ. Thank you so much. You touched my heart.
you touched my heart. You're such a gentleman. And I just want to give you a big heart. That's for Marc right there. That's for Marc. Bless your
Me
heart, Marc.
too. Me too.
Thank you. Thank you. And until next time, let's see. I've got my my fan here. Until we meet again, Marc. Until next time. Au revoir.
Merci beaucoup. Au revoir. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye bye.